This is perceptual organization. As the Meyer Psychology for AP textbook asks, how do we organize and interpret our sensations so that they become meaningful perceptions? We come to Gestalt psychology. Gestalt was introduced by Christian von Ehrenfels, though he did not come up with the idea on his own. Gestalt means form or whole. Basically, it means the whole is different or more than the sum of its parts.
We'll start with figure ground. When we take in an image or scene, our brain has to decipher between what is important and what is background information. The object is the figure, the thing that we focus on. The ground is the background, whatever is less important at the moment. In this famous optical illusion, the figure and ground reverse based on how you look at it. You may see a vase. The white becomes the ground. Shift your gaze just slightly and you'll see two faces. These become the figure and the black vase becomes the ground. In this image, the figure shifts as your eye travels downward. The birds are the figure, and as you continue down, they become the black ground, and the white and gray fish become the figure.
Next, we'll get into grouping. Grouping is how we organize stimuli into meaningful groups. There are 5 major ways we group things. 4 of them are shown here. We have proximity, similarity, continuity, connectedness, and closure, which is the one not shown here. We'll start with proximity.
Proximity is the way in which we group nearby figures. In this image, it's more appealing to see 3 bars that are similar and close together rather than to see them broken apart like on the left. This second image is made up of people. However, the way in which they are displayed so close to each other creates the form of a tree. This picture also brings in closure, but we'll get to that later.
Similarity. We like to put similar figures together. Here we see a plus sign of squares that separate the circles into quadrants. It's more difficult to think of it as a circle, circle, square, circle, circle, square, and so on. Here, the X's and O's are easily seen in columns and not rows of alternating shapes.
Continuity. There is a repeated shape here, a semicircle that is altering over a line, but it's really easier to see 2 lines, one straight and one wavy intersecting. As it says here, it's easier to follow the smoothest path, which is gently curving up. The path downwards is abrupt and difficult to follow because of the change of color and direction.
Closure. Even though these figures have gaps in them, your brain easily fills them in to create an image we understand. Here, we can imagine a square if we follow the line of white, or we can see closed circles if we fill in the gaps there. Same with the one on the right. You can see a triangle or closed circles here, right? We'll draw them in for you. Better?
Connectedness. Here we perceive the dots as single units of 2 dots connected by lines. Try to imagine each dot as its own piece and the bars as separate. It doesn't make sense, does it?
So now test yourself a little bit. What grouping principles are at work here? Is continuity and closure. Here's the solution. The angle of the photo causes confusion in the brain, and the brain tries to make sense of it by finishing the lines and closing the gaps. And that's perceptual organization for you through figure ground and Gestalt.